Welcome to One More Hour, the podcast all about backyard ultras, timed races, and the ultra running mindset of going one more. If you're an ultra runner, a trail or ultra runner curious about the format, or just someone who loves to test your limits, you're in the right place. I'm Jaci Wilson, an ultra marathon and marathon run coach, trail runner, outdoor enthusiast, and backyard ultra expert. On this show, I'll bring you stories, strategies, and conversations with runners, race directors, experts, and more to help you go further, dig deeper, and keep going when everything in you says stop. Thank you so much for joining me for some yards. Let's get started with one more. Welcome back to the One More Hour podcast. Today we are talking about something that a lot of runners resist at first, but something that absolutely belongs in your backyard ultra training plan. And dare I say, ultra training in general, it does not have to be a backyard ultra. This is also related to one of the biggest mistakes that backyard runners make during a race, which leads to ending their races too soon. Hiking and intentional walking. And you're listening to this and you're probably thinking, wait, walking, I know how to walk. And yes, we know how to walk, but hiking and walking intentionally with purpose, not just lollygagging, it should not be an afterthought. And before we dive in, if you haven't already listened, go listen to episode 8, which is all about pacing. Today's episode builds on that because pacing and walking are inseparable in the backyard format. So just wanted to lay that out there. We are first needing to talk about trail running and road running just really quickly because trail running and road running are not the same. If you are newer to trail running or to ultras, this is one of the biggest mistakes that I see. It's trying to match your road pace on the trails. Don't do this. Please do not do this, especially in the backyard ultra. You're going to get very frustrated with your runs out on the trails during training. And then in the backyard ultra, you're also going to get frustrated because your race is going to end fairly quickly. So my number one rule for trail and ultra running is this: walk the hills, run the flats, and the downhills if they are runnable based on effort. Really depends on terrain. If it's super rocky, roots, big boulders, it really just varies based on the race and where you are. But do not compare your trail pace to your road pace. There is a reason ultra marathons take a long time, and the majority of us are not running them at our 8-minute per mile easy pace or our marathon pace, whatever that may be. There's a reason why you're seeing 15 minutes per mile on average for some fast 100-mile races, 20 minutes per mile, 30 minutes per mile. They're very different. The trails are very different. And ultras, in order to go further, need to be approached differently in terms of pacing. Hiking and walking are not signs of weakness. They are fundamental skills in trail and ultra running. And when talking about ultras in general, most runners train the wrong speed. Now, don't get this twisted. Your training plan should still have speed work in it. You don't want to just be doing all easy miles and walking, but this is something that I want you to think about. Most runners are obsessed with making their fastest miles faster. So they're obsessed with, what was my fastest mile? Can I get that faster? But in ultras, your slowest miles matter just as much, if not more. For example, if your running pace during an ultra is around 10 minutes per mile, shaving that down to a 9:30 could take months or even years of focused training, especially when you're out there for 100 plus miles. But if you hike at a 25-minute per mile pace, you could realistically take 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes off per mile of that hiking pace with intentional practice. And that right there is free speed. That's taking a significant chunk of time off of your race time. And it adds up massively. So let's talk about, specifically for backyard ultras, why walking matters so much. Backyard ultras are about low intensity and doing something sustainably and being able to do it on repeat, hour after hour, day after day. The backyard is not a speed race. Yes, there are some races that have thrown some fun into it and have a cash lap or something, but there's no take 10 minutes off your time if you run the fastest loop, or get extra. There's no extra credit. There's no extra trophy or belt buckle or anything for coming in the fastest in your loop time. The backyard is not about finishing the loops first. You should not be coming in with 25 or 30 minutes left in the yard. There is no reason to waste that energy. And again, we talk a lot about this in episode 8 on pacing, but your goal is to take it as easy as possible while still coming up with enough time to do what you need to do it back at camp, which is about 10-ish minutes. Walking and hiking make that possible. They keep your effort and your heart rate low. They reduce muscular damage because it's less stress on your body. They are more maintainable over longer periods of time. Like walking and hiking allows you to go further. And they allow you to keep moving when running stops being an option, or you need to figure out some stomach problems, or you're having some tightness or some pain. Walking also helps regulate body temperature. Lower intensity, less heat buildup, less sweating. That means less fluid needs, lower electrolyte loss, reduced GI stress. Going slower can actually help prevent or at least delay stomach issues later into the race. There are so many benefits to it. And walking really keeps you in the game when running fades. The further you go into the race, you may experience stiffness, the fatigue, not being able to run as fast as you did. You may feel like you're going fast, but you may be going pretty slow. It can also be very beneficial during the night when you are just forced to run in the darkness for 8, 10, 12 plus hours. Stuff happens with vision. It feels like you're going really fast, but you're not really, because you can only see this little area in front of you with your light. So there are a lot of benefits to walking and to hiking. And one of the biggest benefits is when fatigue sets in, you can still walk. As you get stiff, as you get sore, or mentally worn down, walking allows you to keep moving without crossing that line or without timing out of the race. And instead of hitting a wall where running feels completely impossible, you simply extend the amount of time that you walk each loop. And you keep going. And that's how people go far in backyards. Another mistake that I see newer runners in backyard ultras make is they leave time on the clock. As soon as they start slowing down, they quit. If you have 8 minutes left on the clock, if you have 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, if you have time left on the clock, that you keep on finishing your loops, you're not done yet. That's what allows you to go far in the race. And you never know what anyone else is going to be doing. So what happens if you could have just slowed down and you could have walked some and all the other people quit and you're still in? Last runner. Do not leave time on the clock. The whole thing behind walking and hiking is that it is a skill, and most people do not practice it because we walk a lot of places. It's something that we naturally do. Like we learned how to do it at a very young age. But walking and hiking efficiently is a skill. It needs to be practiced. So I see 2 major mistakes with pacing in backyard ultras when it comes to walking and hiking. The first mistake that I see is new backyard runners do not walk the hills, especially early on. They are running up the hills, which costs more energy. It spikes your heart rate. It increases breathing, causes more muscle breakdown. It's more stressful on the body. And doing that early on only accelerates fatigue later. The other big mistake that I see new runners new to the backyard make are they don't want to walk right away in the race because you're just starting. But that's also one of my favorite things about the backyard start is literally almost everyone is just walking out of the corral across the start line because there is no rush. You have an hour, you're fresh, you're feeling good, feeling energized, and the first loop is basically your warm-up. The second mistake that I see is runners slow down when they hit a hill. So even if they're going to walk up the hill, they slow down when they're walking. You also slow down when you're running up the hill because it is more work. But you can be an efficient, strong hiker. And at a lot of times, if you want to keep the effort level similar, slowing down running wise, sometimes you can actually hike faster than you can walking. And in terms of like your gait and how you are moving up the hill, it is a lot more efficient to hike up the hill instead of run up the hill. But you have to practice it. Good hiking is purposeful. Walking fast is purposeful. There has to be intention behind it. It's upright posture. It's strong arms, lean at the ankles, like similar to running, consistent rhythm, intentional effort, not slogging, not dragging your feet, not sitting back on your heels. That's a big mistake that I see. But there's so many benefits to it, and it can help you go so much further in the race. So here's one other thing that people don't really think about. I have a lot of my athletes doing hill repeats, doing hill sprints, doing different hill workouts, walking on the treadmill at incline, depending on what race they're training for, running at different inclines, getting that elevation gain every week. Now, a lot of backyard courses are typically flatter, but there are a lot of courses, like the majority of the ones that I've done have had about 200 to 400 plus feet of elevation gain every loop. And that adds up over time for however long you're going to be running. There is so much power to being good at hills, both running and walking. Hill hiking makes you flatter on flat terrain. Being able to get up the hill faster when running makes you faster when you're running on flatter terrain. It builds strength, different than strength training, but it builds strength, it builds power, it builds muscular endurance, aerobic efficiency. Some of my favorite VO2 max workouts, which yes, you should still be doing as an ultra runner, are a form of hill repeats. So many people resist and fight against hills. And I hear also a lot of, oh, I live in a hilly town. I run hills on my runs every day. I don't need to do hill repeats. False. It is very different running up a hill at an easy effort versus running up at 5K, 10K pace as fast as you can in the amount of time for that length of distance. Those are two very different ways to run up a hill, and they have two very different purposes. So I live in a very hilly town, running hills every single day on my easy runs, but we're still doing hill workouts because there's a different intention behind them, and they serve a different purpose than just running hills at an easy effort on a daily basis. Strong hikers often become smoother, more resilient runners, especially late in the races. And I know Jim Walmsley has made a comment about some of the best ultra runners out there after running some races, and the best hikers are those runners. If you can be a very efficient, strong hiker, that's when you're going to be passing all these people. And I know I'm getting into a whole different world of ultra marathons, but being efficient at walking and hiking is going to make you a stronger runner overall, which is going to benefit your backyard ultra experience. It's going to benefit your timed races. It's going to benefit your point-to-point fixed distance races. It's going to benefit you in every way. And to just reemphasize, the backyard is easy until it's not. Running and walking should feel very easy early on. Effort should feel controlled, should feel very low effort. Heart rate should stay low. Energy should be conserved. If it feels hard early, you're spending too much energy on what you want later on. Do not waste the energy now because your ego says you should be running. Walk, 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 walk. Slow down. Keep the energy low. Walking and hiking are not what make the backyard ultra hard. It's running too early on that ends the race too soon. The runners that I see take off right away when the whistle blows to start, and they're running faster than they should. Their heart rate is up. They're expending more energy than they should be. They don't last as long as they could. I have seen runners who are very fast on the road. They've ran sub 90-minute half marathons, sub 3 hour half marathons, sub 3 hour marathons. Some people have qualified for the Olympic trials, but they start out way too fast in the backyard ultra. They don't walk, they run the hills, and they don't make it very far in the race because they're spending way too much time at camp and they're expending way too much energy out on the course because they're running too fast. So if you want to go further in backyard ultras, learn to walk early. Like the first loop you should be walking, not the entire thing, but you should be walking in the loop. If it's hilly, walk the uphills. If there is no elevation change, figure out a walk-run strategy. Practice hiking intentionally. Keep the effort low. Respect the long game. The backyard is about patience, efficiency, and restraint. Hiking belongs in your training plan just as much as running does. It doesn't have to be the same ratio. You don't have to do 50% running, 50% hiking and walking, but it belongs there. Get good at it. And if this episode has helped you reframe how walking benefits your ultras and what you think walking and hiking means, please share it with a friend who thinks that walking means failing or that it doesn't count as running or part of your running mileage. And again, if you want help building a backyard training plan that balances running, hiking, strength, fueling, mindset, all of the things, that's what I help my athletes do. So please reach out. You can find the links in the show notes. Message me on Instagram. But until next time, I hope this conversation on walking and hiking was beneficial, and keep showing up. One more hour, one more step. Thanks for tuning in to One More Hour. If you enjoyed this episode, hit follow so you don't miss the next yard, and share it with a runner who loves pushing their limits. I'd love to hear your own stories of going one more. Connect with me on Instagram at the One More Hour Podcast. And if you could leave a quick review, it'll help more runners find the show and keep going when they want to stop. Until next time, just go one more hour.